Now, if you're anything like most video editors, you hate masking. It's just tedious. Now, whether you love it or you hate it, you can make some awesome looking video effects by using masking. So that's why in this video, I'm gonna teach you 5 creative masking effects that the pros use. So, all of that stuff and more coming up. But first, if you're new here, my name is Billy Rybka, and I make weekly Davinci Resolve tutorials about different effects, transitions, and workflows that'll help you become a better editor. So, if you want to level up your editing skills, click that subscribe button and the bell notification to stay up to date on the newest videos put out. But let's get into it. Now, the first masking effect is called the layer lapse. The idea of this effect is if you have a stationary time lapse that goes from like daytime to nighttime, we can actually use masks to show an object in that time lapse, like a road, for example, at a different time than the rest of the video. So in Davinci Resolve, on our timeline, we have our one clip right here. What we're gonna do is duplicate this layer by holding Alt, clicking and dragging it up to video layer 2. Now what we'll do is hit R on our keyboard and go to reverse speed right here. So now video layer 2 starts from night and goes to day, and then video layer 1 starts from day and goes to night. Now we're gonna jump into the color tab right here. What we'll do is go to the window tab right here and go down to the pen tool and click on that, and now I'm just gonna pick an object to mask out. So for this, I'm gonna use the bridge. So now I'm just gonna draw a mask around this bridge, and let's say you just mess up a point. To remove that, what you'll do is hover over the point and hit your middle mouse button like this, and it'll just delete it. So just continue to mask out the bridge. All right, so now that we've got this mask, you can go ahead and readjust any point if you really need to. If not, great, you've done well. Next, we'll have to go into our node section right here and right click and go to add alpha output. Then grab your blue alpha output like this and connect it to your blue node alpha output thing right here. So if I go back to the beginning, you can see that, we got like the nighttime kind of look at daytime right here, which is pretty awesome. Now we got one last thing we gotta do to make this all pretty and stuff. So if we want to soften the edges, go down here to the power window section right here and click on off. By turning that off, we can really get a good idea of how harsh our mask is. And go down here to the softness, which is under the window tab, and bring it up ever so slightly. So I think right there, that's pretty good. So moving on to that second masking effect, we have that blurred face effect that you see like people with witness protection. That is done by masking, my friends. In Davinci Resolve, on our timeline, we have our clip right here. What we'll do is go right to the color tab. Now in that same window tab, grab our circle mask right here and drag it over his face and just resize it to where it's covering his face nicely. Yeah, that looks good. Now we need to make sure that circle actually stays to his face. So we gotta go to the tracking tab right here and hit track forward. And it's just gonna track our mask to his face throughout the whole clip. So now that we've tracked this circle mask to his face, get that blurred look, we can do a few different things here. Now in the open effects menu, type in JPEG damage and drag it onto our node like this. Now bring the quality up to like 60 or 70 or whatever. Just have it high. And then under resolution, we're gonna bring that up also, and you'll see that it really just does a good job at masking his face. And if it's not enough, you just bring up the resolution even more. It's as easy as that. And if somebody swears, you just track the mask to their mouth and do the same thing. Now moving on to our third masking effect, we have that classic text reveal effect. So on our timeline, we have this clip where this truck is just moving by and we want the truck to actually reveal the text right here. So to do that, we're gonna actually jump into the Fusion tab this time. I know, it's different. It's not the color tab. We got this. So jumping into the Fusion tab, you see that we have our media in 1 and our media out 1. This is the beginning and this is the end. First things first, let's type out our text. So on the hotbar right here, we'll grab the text plus node and drag it down, and then grab the output of the text 1 node and drag it to the output of the media in node. And this is just gonna create a merge node. Now you can type whatever you want and customize the text in any way, shape, and form by using like fonts and colors and all that stuff. Then we'll position our text where we want it to be revealed and bring up the size or bring it down depending on where you're having it. Then play the clip forward until you see that object that's going to reveal our text. So in this case, we want the end of the truck to reveal this text. Then go up to the hotbar and click this polygon mask and drag it above our text and connect the output of the polygon 1 to the effect mask on text 1. Now you'll see that it disappears. Draw a mask at the end of this truck right here and have it be relatively long like this. Then we'll move forward a few frames using the arrow key and highlight the mask and drag it forward so that it's at the end of the truck like this. Now by default, keyframes are enabled for the polygon mask. However, if it's not enabled, you can go over here in the inspector tab, click on the keyframe right here. Then after that, it'll add keyframes every time you move the mask. So now you'll see that the end of this truck actually reveals the text. Now to remove the text, what we have to do is pretty much the same thing, but opposite. We'll just highlight all of our points like this, move forward a few frames, drag our mask forward, and keep doing the same thing over and over again until our text is completely gone. Now, if our mask edge is a little too sharp, we can always turn up soft edges, and we can do it just like this. So it just matches with the natural motion blur that's in the clip. So now let's look at this effect. Now the fourth masking effect that I'm going to teach you is called the Vignette Masking effect. So in Davinci Resolve, we want to add that vignette effect around the edges right here to really draw the attention towards this tower. To do that, we'll jump straight into the color tab, and in the window menu, we'll grab that circle mask right here and increase the softness with this outer circle with the red point. Next, once you got that size right, you'll go down and hit this invert mask button right there. Now, if you want that classic vignette effect, all you'll do is go to gain and drag it down like so that you can see it's darker around the edges. However, if you want to really add that speed, warp, zoom effect that you normally get with a hyperlapse, what you'll do is reset the gain so that we don't have that outer vignette. Then we'll select zoom blur and drag it onto this node right there. Right off the bat, it's looking like it's kind of zooming forward. Now, of course, we can adjust the strength of this, so if it's too strong, we can turn it down. We'll also want to, under border type, change it from black to replicate so that we get those black borders around the edges gone. All right, so let's look at this effect. Now moving on to our fifth and final masking effect, this one is honestly one of my favorite masking effects ever, just because of how awesome it looks when it's done correctly. Now, if I was to put a name on this masking effect, it would be called the 2.5D masking effect, because it's not truly 3D, but it sure looks like it. So in Davinci Resolve, we have our clip right here, and it's of a drone shot just kind of circling this steeple right here because it looks kind of cool. We have to go ahead and drag in that black bar overlay like this and extend it all the way out. Then we'll duplicate this bottom layer by holding Alt and clicking and dragging the clip, and we'll bring it up onto video layer 3 above our black bars. Now that we have that done, we're gonna click on the video layer 3 right here and jump into color tab. And now that we're in the color tab, we're gonna actually draw a mask around the top of the steeple right here. So in the Windows menu, we're gonna click on the free draw pen tool right there and zoom in and draw a really nice mask around the steeple. Now once you've got that mask, we're gonna bring the softness of the mask up to about 0.18. To make our mask stick to that steeple, we're gonna have to open up the tracker window right here, and then we're gonna hit the track forward button. And you can see already it is screwing up, but I'm just gonna let it keep doing its thing. The mask is completely off the frame, and we still have a lot of steeple here. So I'm gonna show you a few tricks that are also pretty hard to explain. So try to track with me, I'm gonna do my best. On the tracker window, you can see that we have a keyframe placed right here. This is actually gonna be really important. We need to make sure that our playhead is on that keyframe. Then we're gonna change it from clip to frame. So now if I move my points, it's only gonna really affect the frame that I'm on. So now just make sure that our mask is really tight to that steeple. Now once we've done that, we're gonna hit track forward again and allow it to just track forward like so. And finally, we'll get to a place where our steeple is pretty much out of frame, and at this point, it doesn't really matter if we keep this mask tight to this object because the black bars are not gonna be covering it up. Move forward one frame past this keyframe and just move our mask completely off. Now we're gonna do the really fun thing, my friends. We're gonna make sure that our mask really sticks nice and tight to that steeple. And that's gonna be probably the thing that I speed up because it's really tedious. All right, so now that your hand has completely fallen off by fixing this mask, all that we have left to do is to go over here to the node section and right click, go to add alpha output and connect our alpha outputs together like that. You'll really be able to see what this effect does and how cool it looks. Now, if for some reason you want to add more of these masking pop-out effects to the same clip, you can do that by going back to the Windows tab like this and adding another curve and then doing the mask thing again. Now, speaking of all these video effects and transitions, I need some suggestions from you. Yes, you. So a few weeks ago, maybe a month at this point, I don't actually know, I created a shape offset transition pack. Now I want to add to it. So if you have any suggestions, please put them in the comments below. And also, if you're interested in getting this pack, click the link in the description below to get yours now. And yes, if you get the pack now, you also get the next version coming out because that's just how I want it to happen. So if you want more videos like this, click on the top for a playlist with all of my Davinci Resolve tutorials, or click on the bottom for a video that YouTube thinks that you would like. But until the next one, peace.